So you're thinking about moving or relocating to Columbus, Ohio, and trying to figure out how much does it really cost to live there. You're probably wondering, how does Columbus compare to where I'm moving from? How much is housing? How are taxes? Can I really afford to go to the doctor? Well, having been raised and born in Columbus, there's no one better to fill you in, and I'm going to be straight and transparent as possible. I'm going to talk about things like housing, taxes, utilities, gas, transportation, food, and I'm breaking it all down right now. So let's go! Hey and welcome. If you're new to my channel, I'm Mark Van Stein. I make videos about what it's like living in Columbus, Ohio. I cover things like the best schools, neighborhoods, areas, cost of living, so you can get a really good feel on what it's like to live here in the capital city. If you like what you see, please hit that thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe because I'm dropping new videos every week, not only about Columbus, but its many suburbs as well. And if you're thinking about relocating or moving here, make your life a little bit easier and reach out to my team and I. I'm a licensed RE/MAX realtor and have been helping people relocate to Columbus for almost 2 decades. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, however you want to get a hold of me. My team and I are ready to make your life a little bit easier. I literally get phone calls, emails, texts from people moving and relocating here every week. The cost of living, it's hard to put some real numbers behind a video like this because it's so subjective. Now there are a bunch of websites out there that can give you some averages across the city, but really how accurate are they? The cost of housing and taxes would be widely different depending on where you live in the city. The cost of food might be similar, and even healthcare, but utilities will be very different, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on in the video. So I think the best way to approach this video is to tell you a little bit about what I'm paying and using some averages and trying to come up with some more accurate numbers. Let's start with housing, because that's where the largest difference is going to occur. Housing in Columbus is very, very expensive, even compared to some of the other parts of the country. Now, is it a San Francisco or Bucks County, PA expensive? No. But it is higher than many other similar sized cities in the Midwest. When you get to the more desirable areas, it gets even more expensive. Currently, the average home price in Columbus is around $300,000. Now that has gone up significantly the last couple of years, just like everywhere else in the country. But depending on what you're looking for and the area that you want to live, $300,000 price point may not even be an option. When you talk about the most expensive areas in Columbus to live, like the Upper Arlingtons and the New Albany suburbs, $300,000 isn't going to buy much. And like I said, in some cases, nothing at all. Now, if you're interested in more specific suburbs, there are other videos on this channel where I go more in depth about housing prices. Like I said, I'm going to use myself and some recent transactions for this video. I grew up in a suburb called Worthington and currently live in an area called Powell, which, if you're looking at a map, Powell is directly north of Worthington, both which are directly north of downtown Columbus. Last week, I sold a home in Powell for about $500,000. Let's make our life a little easier, right, and use round numbers. The home was a 2-story, had 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, had a 3-car garage, was about 2,600 square feet, and was built in the mid-1990s. It had a basement, which was not finished. It was on about 1/3 of an acre lot, and in Olentangy schools. Now that home went out for around $190 a square foot, but the average in Columbus right now is about $170 a square foot. But price per square foot is going to be very completely subjective based on the area, updates, condition, etc. of the home. That's why it's not a great idea to get caught up in these averages. Next, let's talk about taxes. If you've watched any of the other videos on this channel, you know I talk about taxes quite a bit, and for good reason. Because the property taxes are high throughout Columbus. But not just the property taxes, you need to be concerned also about the local and RETA taxes, because each area is going to be a little different. For example, like I mentioned, I live in Powell, Olentangy schools, and having a Powell mailing address, but I don't live in the city limits. Therefore, I'm not subject to the Powell City income tax. In fact, the developer of my neighborhood specifically built it because he was so sick of the Powell income tax that he built a brand new neighborhood. And that's the case throughout different parts of the city. So it's not just the property taxes you need to be concerned with. You also need to be aware of the other regional taxes as well. I'll give you another good example. The home I grew up in and how different it was. So I grew up in Worthington, went to Worthington schools, lived in the city of Columbus, with a city of Columbus mailing address, had a Dublin post office, a Dublin phone number. On top of that, we lived in a township. So the township we lived in had its own police and fire department, which was great, but which is very expensive from a tax standpoint. Like I said, it can get really confusing in Columbus.
What? I do not understand.
A good resource are the county websites. On the Franklin and Delaware County sites, which are the two main counties in Central Ohio, there is a property tax estimator. You can literally plug in an address with a purchase price and it will give you the estimated taxes. You can also check out other videos on this channel where we break this down a little bit more and talk to you about how you really need to go about looking for homes in Columbus, Ohio. And of course, if I can be of any assistance, I'm here to help. On to the cost of food. Again, a little subjective, and I'll use myself as an example because I'm the one that does all the grocery shopping in our family.
You don't say.
And I am blown away at the cost of food. Currently, it's just my wife and I at home and a 70-pound Bernedoodle named Bo, but I can't get out of the grocery store without spending $250 a week. And it's not like I'm eating filet every night. These are just the brand name essentials, not including alcohol or anything else crazy expensive. I do shop at the local Giant Eagle, which is a regional grocery, similar to like a Kroger. I don't shop at Whole Foods or any other super expensive specialty stores. And my wife really doesn't even eat that much. So if you're a family of 5 with some growing, hungry kids, you can see how that number can escalate quickly. There are some less expensive grocery options out there in the area, which is nice, again, but we're just talking about averages here. The cost of gas is going to be pretty similar as many of the other cities in the Midwest. In the past 12 months, we have seen prices go from just over $2 a gallon to over $5 a gallon, which is obviously a big swing. What we don't have are the very high gas prices like you will find out in California, or the super low gas prices which you'll find like in Texas. We're literally pretty average across the state. Healthcare, again, is going to be super subjective. How good is your insurance provider? How high is your deductible? Do you have children? Lots of different variables. So based on my knowledge and some internet sites, the average cost can run anywhere between $1,000 and $2,500. What I can tell you is we have some very good health care providers here in Columbus. The two largest healthcare companies here in town are Ohio Health and the Ohio State University. Both have some amazing hospitals. Ohio State University is just finishing up a $1 billion hospital right on campus. It's hard to miss when you're driving down the highway. They also have the James Cancer Hospital. We are also very lucky to have Nationwide Children's Hospital right here in Columbus, which is a renowned pediatric hospital. I actually have acquaintance who is flying in from California with their 6th son for 3 months just to receive treatment at Nationwide Children's. That's how renowned of a hospital it is. Lastly, I'm going to talk a little bit about the cost of utilities. Cable and phone seem to be in line with the rest of the country. Water and sewer are going to be really by municipality, but water should run you about $50 a month and sewer about $100 a month. Trash can be a little bit of a wild card. If you live in Columbus, trash and recycling is free, or rather it's part of your taxes. If you're like me and live up in Powell, you have a private trash service and recycling, and that runs about $200 a quarter. In Upper Arlington, you have to buy stickers and mark every single individual garbage bag that is thrown away. Electric and gas obviously will be the two most expensive and widely vary. Many homes in Columbus are both gas and electric, but not all. Obviously, gas is used for heat and electric for air conditioning. But some properties don't have gas and only work off electric. Unfortunately, electric heat is not nearly as efficient as gas heat and feels cooler and costs more in the wintertime. My mom and dad live out on some acreage in Delaware County and only have electric. And in the wintertime, they have a hard time keeping their home comfortable. The best way I can explain this is the difference between gas and electric heat is if you hold your hand a couple inches away and blow into it. That's what electric heat feels like. And if you breathe into it, that's what gas heat feels like. Pretty scientific, huh? Also, whether you are buying or renting, make sure you have an understanding of who the utility provider is. Many of the developers who own apartment complexes and condo communities have their own utility providers and require you to buy service through them. It is a huge moneymaker for that developer and could cost you more every month. Well, if this video didn't completely price you out of the Columbus market and you're still thinking about moving or relocating to town, make sure you give me and my team a call. We would love helping you relocate to the Columbus area. And like I mentioned, I've been doing this for 18 years. And it is so very important that you have a professional realtor helping you purchase in Columbus, especially if you're unfamiliar with the city and areas. Because you know what, you really want to make sure that you not only buy a nice home, but you also make a good investment. You can call, text, email me. My contact information is at the end of the video and down below. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my new videos because I'm dropping them every week. All about Columbus, Ohio.